and Lords podcast.
Welcome to the Lord's Minute, our quick hit video series where we talk about all the biggest happenings in gaming and beyond. I'm your host, Ty Swinson, writer for Lords of Gaming, and with me today once again is Lord King. We have now gotten the first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, which has broken the record for most global views in 24 hours. Lord King, what do you have to say to this?
Well, I'm really not surprised because everyone is starved for any MCU news. Even though Spider-Man isn't like of the MCU, he's really a Sony
Mhm.
property. So I'm really not really surprised about the whole situation because everybody views this as a true kickoff. They didn't view what is it, the Black Widow movie as
Right.
the next step, because if you're following the timeline, she's dead or she's stuck in the soul gem or whatever have you, however they're
Mhm.
going to do that. The trailer was amazing. It didn't disappoint.
Mhm.
It got straight to the point. It answered a lot of questions that people had that are in the know, and those people that aren't in the know, it's a complete shocker to see
Mhm.
Dr. Octopus at the end, knowing that this is
Right.
the same Dr. Octopus from, I think it was Spider-Man 2. Um, the movie is going to generate a buzz around it, and I don't believe that Spider-Man stays inside the MCU after this
Mhm.
because I believe Sony is going to go right back to how Sony does,
Right.
hubris, believing that they can achieve a certain status, and they've shown it. And I think Marvel will no longer need Spider-Man.
Mm.
I believe that Wolverine, they will lean heavily on Wolverine. They will introduce Wolverine from the side projects that they received from the Fox stuff. You have the Fantastic Four to lean into. You have a heavy emphasis on space exploration with the Eternals. So I believe that we have reached a part in of the ways they have told the three stories. And Spider-Man has Venom, the Venom 2 movie coming. So of course
Mhm.
you want to merge those two properties in there, and then you have Morbius coming, and then you have the evolution of the Sinister Six. So Spider-Man should be truly busy for the next 15 to 20 years, separating himself from the MCU. Now, does Disney want to separate from Sony's Spider-Man? I don't think it's a good look for Disney to separate from Sony Spider-Man because um Disney happens to want to own things outright. So
Right.
Disney has the ability to purchase Sony because we already know that Sony is in financial straits at certain periods of times and fiscal periods. So um Disney is actually cash flush enough to purchase Sony outright just for the IP.
Mhm.
So and if they was to purchase the company outright, the IP will revert back to their self anyway. You understand? So they can purchase Sony outright and just give Sony back up just to get the property itself because it's more than $1 billion property. The entities within the Spider-Man universe encompasses a ton. So they can do TV shows, they can do a whole bunch of spin-offs and stuff like that, which I believe they inked those deals with Sony to do so. But ownership is probably key on Disney's part. I don't think Marvel, even though Marvel Disney is the same, I don't
Mhm.
think Marvel itself, MCU, needs Spider-Man after this movie because you can get the reason why uh it kicks off into the multiverse from Spider-Man. You've seen the catalyst in the Time Chronicles with Loki. They was able to set that up. So if those people that watch Loki understand what I'm talking about, when we see this Far From Home with Spider-Man, his wishes and his desires to go back into anonymity, uh with Doctor Strange using a spell actually changes the outcome of things. In the book, I think it was called One More Day. He's talked to the demon Mitzvitzo, which is the version of the devil, like one version of the devil. The one below all is actually the devil, but
Right.
Mitzvitzo owns a realm in hell. And he made a deal with him in order for the world to forget his identity and stuff like that. And tragic stuff happened. So I really have different beliefs in this film after
Hmm.
seeing the trailer. So it's a lot of key stuff. A lot of stuff is talking, a lot of intrigue around it, and we have Comic-Con and all that stuff happening. So those things bring the excitement for it to break the 24-hour
Hmm.
viewing. So I'm not surprised. It's a lot of stuff to it, and I can't wait. And I'm going to go see Shang-Chi this weekend. So,
Right. Yeah, that should be exciting. To give people a perspective, the previous record holder for most global views of a trailer was Avengers Endgame at
yep.
289 million views within 24 hours. With Spider-Man No Way Home, they broke that by 355.5 million is the official number of views that they had within 24 hours. And yeah, I don't think Spider-Man something Disney will want to let go so easily after this movie slash phase. Tom Holland Spider-Man is very marketable to people of all ages. With the Avengers Campus that they debuted over at Disneyland California Adventure, their park, they have a nice new Spider-Man ride that features Tom Holland Spider-Man and all the neat jazz and merchandise that they've been able to sell there with all the hype that's been generating with Spider-Man No Way Home, especially when it comes to like the multiverse stuff, partnering with Doctor Strange, and looks like we're getting a slight iteration of One More Day. I can
Mm-hmm.
see why people are very excited. With the trailer, especially, we're getting the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Doc Octopus
Mm-hmm.
in this movie crossover. King, do you think that all the other hopes and anticipations of other possible iterations making it into this movie?
Yes. Okay. So we seen early on, we seen a lot of the Jack Kirby inspired Spider-Man stuff there with the costumes and everything. Then we also saw the Iron Spider, which I
Hmm.
think that's a fake out, a complete fake out from Marvel. I don't
Okay.
know how it's gonna go, but we also saw the black suit that he had when he was running in school. um, we saw Sandman, which I believe I saw there. We saw the Green Goblin's Goblin Bomb. We saw Doc Ock. I believe we saw Electro shooting the Sandman when they was fighting. And I believe we probably got a glimpse of the lizard there at some point in time, but I believe we got close to the full Sinister Six. We just didn't see the Vulture, or we didn't see Scorpion in there. So we should have that whole thing.
Hmm.
Andrew Garfield, I believe we will see him. I believe we will see Toby. Because of the films. What was that film with Spider-Man? Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse.
Hmm.
Being that it was told in such a manner that you had an older Spider-Man teaching a younger Spider-Man exactly the ropes and stuff like that, I believe that we will get that same type of thing here, where we
Okay.
have Tobey Maguire actually lean into it, because Tobey Maguire is a little bit older, but he
Right.
still has a younger facade on, how he can actually carry himself. I don't know how close of weight he can get down to the Spider suit, but I believe they can play off of that as well, like they did Into the Spideyverse.
Hmm.
Andrew Garfield always seemed as adult Peter. Like when they did do the story, they did the story of after his graduation, him going to college and him finding himself. So these type of things will play well into that whole thing. You have three different Spider-Mans at three different junctions of their life. Tobey Maguire older, Andrew Garfield uh, as middle in the middle, and the newer Spider-Man right now as the younger Spider-Man. They could tell a really good story that way, and I believe they will attack it, because I don't think this young Spider-Man is equipped to handle the Sinister Six all at one time. I think
Right.
he's going to need help, and I think it's gonna show itself. But also in that same trailer, if you look at Doctor Strange doesn't look the same. I think this is when we get introduced to Mephisto. Why is the Sanctum Sanctorum freezing? What's going on
Covered in
there?
snow.
Yeah, why did he throw fire out of his hand to light the furnace? Why was his hair in a slick back position, not his normal Benedict Cumberbatch
Mm-hmm.
comb over? It's a lot of little cues, and then you saw him actually fighting Spider-Man when he was turning the trains around him and warping the trains at him. It's little different things that gives me the hint that they probably might lean heavier into the story and just tell it from a different perspective. How we going to get that one more day story is so intriguing. It is absolutely so intriguing. There's so many possibilities, and knowing how Marvel likes to fake the consumer out, because when we
Mm-hmm.
saw that Endgame trailer with the Hulk running with the group, and then when we actually saw the movie, it was actually the what is it
The Hulkbuster.
Banner in the Hulkbuster suit, and then it was little things there also that they changed around just to fake you out, just to keep you guessing, just to not to make it stale, so you didn't feel like you can predict the ending of any particular movie. So I'm super stoked for December. I just realized, like, hey, we're in September right now. We got
Right.
October, November, December, bam, and we're
Almost here.
there. Yeah, so we're really close. I guess the pandemic makes a long time a short time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. I really do think we're going to get all the stuff that we talked about.
Yep, it's a lot of moving parts. A lot of different paths seem to be converging together on this movie, and I am very excited to be seeing it in theaters in December.
That's the only thing that sucks for me.
But this has been the Lord's Minute. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at lordsofgaming.net. I'm Ty Swinson here with Lord King, and this has been the Lord's Minute.
Peace.